Hello. The next talk is by Javier Fontan, and it's Open Nebula as open replacement of vCloud. Have fun.
Hi, my name is Javier Fontan. I suppose you already know me, but there's my name. I'm part of the Open Nebula team, one of the developers, and I want to present one of the latest things that we created. It's Open Nebula, but with a twist. And one vCloud, what we wanted to do it is to make something to replace the if you already have a VMware machines and you're already using vCenter and you want to provide services to users and you don't have a system administrator that is creating virtual machines for every single user. One of the things you can do is install vCloud director and create users for your institution users and let them create new virtual machines, etc. But what we wanted to do is to do the very same thing, but with Open Nebula, because within that is not only that you can do, you can cloudify your VMware infrastructure, but you can also use the Open Nebula features that are not in vCloud. So basically, what we've done is an appliance. It's a virtual machine that already has Open Nebula installed, Open Nebula configured, and with a special driver that we developed recently that is called vCenter. If you've already been using Open Nebula with VMware, you know that we have a driver that is called VMware that can talk to ESX machines and that can create new virtual machines in those hosts. With this new driver, we don't talk anymore to the ESX. We talk directly to the vCenter. So if you're already using vCenter and doing things with vCenter, it's not going to change any of your workflow. So with this appliance, you substitute vCloud director, or you add this cloud layer on top of vCenter. So you can convert your VMware infrastructure into a cloud-like infrastructure. And also the good thing is that you can also use the other features that Open Nebula provides. The benefits is that you, for example, you are using your VMware infrastructure, but the thing is that you can also use Xen and KVM. So for example, if you already have a VMware, you're using VMware, and you want to change your machines to KVM, or you want to try KVM or Xen, you can start using a little cluster with KVM, with Xen, at the same time you're using your VMware infrastructure. You can also use some other nice features of Open Nebula, like cloud bursting. You're still using your infrastructure, and maybe you can send machines to EC2, Azure, or SoftLayer. You can use one flow. That's something that with vCenter you cannot do. You can create your services and start the service as a whole. But you can also use the nice features from VMware, like DRS and high availability. And this doesn't collide with Open Nebula features, so everything will work the same. What's in V1 Cloud? This appliance is composed by CentOS 7 with Open Nebula installed. It's a standard Open Nebula version, so what we have inside is this appliance is an RPM that downloaded from our repository. So you're going to have the very same version, the latest version of Open Nebula. It has the vCenter drivers. Open Nebula comes with vCenter, but this appliance comes with a vCenter already configured, so you can just start the virtual machine and connect to your infrastructure. It connects directly to the vCenter. One of the nice things that some of the users didn't like is that the VMware drivers needed to talk through SSH to the SX machines, and some people didn't like the machines to have the SSH connection open to the external machine. Also, the images are managed by vCenter, so you don't need to do any change in your workflow. If you already have machines running in vCenter, you just import the templates. The images are already there. You don't need to move files from one place to the other. And this vCenter driver also has an import tool. So the thing is that you don't need to add manually the templates or the hosts that are already in the infrastructure. You just say OpenNebula, I will show you, connect to this vCenter and import everything that's in there. The workflow is like this. You have an OVA file. You put it into your vCenter, start the machine. You go through the import tool to get the resources that you have in your infrastructure, the templates, etc. And then you create the users that can use this infrastructure and give permissions to the template so people can start using it. I'm going to do a demo. I hope it works. First of all, I want to show you the web page where you can download v1cloud. Maybe you cannot see, but the URL is v1cloud.today. You can download here the OVA. You can do two things from here. Here you have the URL where you can download the OVA. So you can download it to your machine and then put it into vCenter. But you know that in vCenter you can provide a URL. So if you go to vCenter, just import this OVA and start it up. I'm going to show you, this is one of our vCenters. I just wanted to show you before starting with v1cloud what we have in there. Here I'm showing the templates that we already have created. These are testing machines, but for this purpose it's okay. We have a data center. It's called v1 data center with one cluster. That's called production. Maybe you cannot see it, but I cannot make it bigger. Well, you more or less see what we have in this machine. And this is one of the v1 cloud images started. This machine already has a vCenter imported because of time, etc. But I want to show you what's the workflow. First time you access the v1 cloud, you see the Sandstone web interface. And next step is going to the hosts and adding a new vCenter. Here you select if everything works. You select vCenter. You put the credentials. You know how these things work? When you try to do something, it doesn't work. It was working 5 minutes ago, but... No, I'm not using Wi-Fi. I'm using a wire cable. Well, I think I was not going... Oh, it's working somehow. The idea is that you don't need to know beforehand what you have in your vCenter. I was showing you to check what it's doing. But what it does is that it connects to the vCenter and asks for the clusters that it has. And in this vCenter, it is showing that there's a cluster called production. So you can import this cluster. If you have more clusters, you can select every single cluster that you need in v1 Cloud. You can do this with OpenNebula and the vCenter drivers, but this comes already configured. And the thing is that when you select the cluster, it will be shown every single template that is in that cluster. So you can import all the templates that you need. I'm going to get every single one, but you can just select the ones that you really need. In this case, you can see that now we have a host that is called production. The thing is that below this host is the vCenter machine, the vCenter infrastructure. So, for example, if you have 50 hosts in the vCenter, the thing is that when you send a a virtual machine to this host, it will be sent to vCenter. I will use one of the resources that it has. So it's a bit similar to the cloud version drivers. The thing is that what you see is not a single host, but an infrastructure that is behind this. In this case, we can see that we have two virtual machines that are already created. It has 9 CPUs and 18 gigabytes of RAM. You can get also more information. This is a special view for the vCenter drivers. You can check information about the hosts that are in this vCenter, and we can see that there are 2 hosts, one with 8 CPUs, another one with just 1 CPU, the memory that it has. So you don't need to go to vCenter to check this information. And you also get all the features from OpenNebula. You can check graphs about the CPU that's consuming, the virtual machines that are running. You have VNC that hopefully works, yes. And the thing is that it knows where in this infrastructure is running, so it knows how to connect to every single host. So everything works behind the scenes, and you don't need to know any of these things. And the other thing that we imported is the templates. You can see here, here are the templates that we already imported. One thing that is different from a normal template, I will show you if I can. Normally in OpenNebula, what you have is you have a template and you have a virtual network attached to the template, an image attached to the template, etc. In this case, with vCenter, as you create the templates inside vCenter, you are not adding images or adding networks. All of these things are created in vCenter, so you don't need to change your way of working if you're already working with vCenter. And normally this goes faster, I have to say, but it's a bit tricky because I don't have connection to that machine, so I have to go through an SSH tunnel, and if it breaks, I can't go there. As you can see, the template from the vCenter machines are really, really small. What we have is that we have the ID, the VMware ID for the template. And as you can see, there's no network, there's no image, there's no nothing. You just say that you want to use the template that's already in the vCenter. If you modify the template in vCenter, then your machines will be different. So all this stuff is managed by vCenter. And you can do the very same thing as in OpenNebula. You can instantiate a new VM from the template. Also, another thing that is different is that normally what you see when you create a new virtual machine is that it's in prologue state for a long time, because in prologue state is copying images, doing this kind of stuff. And with vCenter drivers, it's going to take a lot of time in boot, because in prologue state, it's not going to copy anything, just going to send the command to vCenter to start a new virtual machine from this template. So in the boot state, vCenter will do all the copy images, prepare the virtual machine, start it, etc. Also, one of the things that we do, now it's in boot state, one of the things that we do is that virtual machine gets the IP information. In this case, it's not very informative. We get the guest IP. In this case, getting IPv6, but if your machine only has IPv4, we'll get an IPv4. The thing is, what we do is that we get information from the VMware tools. So your machines need to have VMware tools installed. The machine will tell the VMware tools what's the IP, and OpenNebula will get from vCenter this IP, so you can connect to it. There's also some modern information that is not in a normal virtual machine, like for example, the status of the VMware tools, the version that it has, and also the host where the machine is really running. So if you need somehow to do something and I don't want to go to the ESX host to check where the machine is running, you can get this information here, or you can go to hosts, and check the consumption from a host, etc. All the other things work the same. You can, for example, go here and stop a virtual machine, open VNC, etc., etc., etc. Yes, we can. Well, it's doing its thing. And if you go to the, hopefully it works. And here you can see the opennebula machines that are created, etc. One of the nice things that it also does is that you know that you can create folders inside vCenter. So you can create a folder and add a new template to this folder. opennebula will create the virtual machines inside the same folder as the template. So if you want to have the opennebula machines and your manually created machines, you can create a folder called opennebula, put the templates that are going to be used by opennebula inside this folder, and all the virtual machines are going to be created in this folder. So you can have it separated, and maybe some other user won't see one dash something. I took some screenshots in case it didn't work, but I've been lucky. One of the things that don't work the same, and we are working on that, one of the things that don't work the same is the contextualization. And the thing is that doing this, we cannot generate a new CD-ROM file and push it to VMware, so we can push information about the IP, etc. But what we are doing is pushing information through VMware tools. So inside the virtual machine, you can get this information using the VMware tools command line. It's something like a VM tools D -- something, and gets the information that we push to VMware. The thing is that we are also modifying the contextualization packages. So in case it doesn't find the CD-ROM, it tries to find the VMware tools, and if it gets the VMware tools, it can get this information. So using the standard contextualization RPMs or devs and the Windows contextualization, you can get this information and get the IP, etc. What is not working is pushing files. We cannot push files through this mechanism, but the networking, DNS, etc. is working. We're also working in upgrade tool. The thing is that you download this OVA, you start this this appliance to manage your infrastructure, etc. But we get a new version, and then the thing is that you have to throw out this old appliance and create a new one. So we are working on an upgrade tool, so all the data, all the configuration, the users, etc. can be moved from one to the other. We are also working on network management. This is nice if you have maybe just one network, or your machines are really predefined to use the network that they need. But sometimes you want the user to select, I want a public IP, I want private IP, etc. So we're working on a way to select these networks from the vCenter. And we are also working on importing VMs to... the thing is that right now, as you saw, we already had a couple of virtual machines running in the vCenter. But when we were importing the vCenter infrastructure, we got the hosts and the templates, but not the running virtual machines. And we are trying to find a way to also import these machines so you can manage the already running virtual machines from opennebula. Nothing more. If you want to try it, as I told you, it's really easy. Just go to the vCloud today, download it, start it up, and that's it. Any question? Oh, I cannot tell you a time frame. But right now, I don't know when it's going to be. Sorry. Oh, the question was when the importing tool was going to be available.
Can you tell me what is the commercial implication of this?
The question is the commercial implication of this. If you, in the point of view of opennebula.systems, is it?
No, for the user.
For the user.
I have a VMware system running.
Yeah.
So what do I get out of this?
Uh,
Other than benefits, what you mentioned, money-wise.
this appliance is free, it's open source. And
Replaces vCloud.
yes, that's it.
That's expensive.
It's really expensive. I don't know the numbers, but Ignacio made a post. If you go to the OpenNebula blog, made a post about how much you have to pay to have the vCloud directory and all these technologies. But the thing is that one is expensive and this one is free.
OpenNebula does not support.
Yeah,
Does not support.
yeah, we have two drivers for VMware. One is the old one that is called VMware and connects directly to ESX. So OpenNebula is really doing the job of vCenter, more or less. And this other one connects to vCenter. So it's not managing the ESX one by one. It's just telling vCenter, okay, create a new virtual machine in your infrastructure.
So this is for the people who already made the mistake of buying the vCenter.
Or their bosses. Any other question? Okay, thank you.